So, what is Bitcoin? Well, based on the white paper, the faceless creator Satoshi Nakamoto, we will talk about in a different video, whether that's his real name or not, posted on a cryptographic website in 2008 describing it as a peer to peer version of electronic cash that would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Now, to those asking what a white paper is, it's just basically a document issued by a company containing information on the product that or service that they're offering. All coins tend to have one that gives an overview of what that token is and what it offers and the roadmap and that kind of thing. So what you immediately get from this is a creation meant to break away or act as an alternative to the traditional financial institutions like banks. Deeper, it describes the decentralization nature of Bitcoin, where he mentions making payments without going through a financial institution. So decentralization, in a nutshell, just means no one entity, like person or institution, controls Bitcoin. And this is enabled by how the Bitcoin network is set up, because it is run by, thousands of computers around the world connected to its blockchains. And these computers are called nodes, and they're run by miners. And we'll get to that in a bit, right? A blockchain is just a public digital database that stores information on the network's activity. It's just record keeping. Now, furthermore, Bitcoin is an open source software protocol. So this means that the code that is used to create Bitcoin is open to the public. Anyone can use it. You can change it. But when we say change, right, it's not that simple where you just go there and then you change it to send you millions of Bitcoins. Your proposed changes need a 95% consensus amongst the last couple of thousands of miners. And this is a good way to manage proposed changes, to make sure that they are, progressing the network and not destroying it. So, obviously there's bad characters that if you didn't need any kind of consensus or agreements, they would just come there and change it to destroy the network. So that's not possible. Any changes have to actually be agreed on by 95% of the people that have, processed the past 2,000 or so transactions. They're the ones that are going to be responsible for, assessing those changes. Right? So cool. So far we've established what Bitcoin is and who created it, right? So how are Bitcoins created? Right? They're created through a process called mining. Same process responsible for verifying, processing, and recording Bitcoin transactions. However, to process a transaction, you have to earn it by solving a difficult math equation. Right, you'll be competing with other thousands of miners on the Bitcoin network. So if you solve it first, then you get to mine that block or process that transaction, and you get rewarded for that in Bitcoin. This is called a block reward, and solving that equation is called proof of work. So, don't think that you have to be sitting there, scribbling on a piece of paper to solve the math equation. No, it doesn't work like that. It's done by the specialized computers that have, the mining capabilities that are, for mining, basically. You just leave it running and it does its thing. So, it's not about you physically solving a math equation. So the more mining equipment you have, the more likely you are to solve more equations. But then again, the more miners there are, which means that there's a higher hash power, sometimes the difficulty increases. So it also becomes harder to solve the equations. Anyway, so one of the first miners was a guy called James Howell in 2009. Mind you, the first block was mined on the 3rd of January in 2009. So this guy was early. This was before it was even listed on exchanges, and it was worth a fraction of a penny, a fraction of a penny. And he managed to accumulate 7,500 Bitcoins in the process. But guess what? He threw away his hard drive after his girlfriend told him the mining equipment was making too much noise. Jeez. 7,500 Bitcoin. That's slightly over $300 million today. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, he's trying to recover it now. I think he's actually offered to pay the council to dig at the landfill to see if they can find it and recover it, and he's offering to pay them a reward if they do find it. I mean, to be fair, the miners back then were actually really loud. So, I guess. And, Bitcoin being what it was at that time, nobody really saw it that it was going to go this far, I guess. So, it happens. It happens. Like I was saying, the first Bitcoin block, which is actually called the Genesis block, was mined on the 3rd of January in 2009. And the last will be mined in 2140. Yeah, 2140. Now, side note, it's programmed in the protocol for only 21 million Bitcoin to ever exist. So only 21 million Bitcoin will ever exist. And currently, about 18 million Bitcoin have been mined and are currently in circulation. But of that 18 million, some have been lost, sent to the wrong address, people that have lost passwords, and, like James that have lost their hard drives. And some of the people that own Bitcoin that have died. So there's some dormant wallets and stuff like that haven't really, that aren't really going to move. And that's that, really. You can't really do anything about them. So moving forward, right, how do we know the last block will be mined in 2140? Well, it takes about 10 minutes to mine a block. But when more miners join the network, the hashing power, which is just the computing power, increases. So the time to mine a block decreases. So to counter that, every 2 weeks, the network resets the difficulty so that the time remains around 10 minutes, right? And every 4 years, there's an event called the halving. And the halving is when reward for mining a block is cut in half. So the first halving happened in November 2012. From the first block, which was mined in January 2009, till November 2012. A miner was rewarded 50 Bitcoins for mining a block. 2012 to July 2016, the reward was halved again and cut to 12.5 Bitcoins. And then the latest was May 2020, and the reward is currently, which is the most recent one, and the reward is currently at 6.25 BTC. So these rewards are, they're an incentive for the miners to maintain the network and just basically, just do their thing. And it's also it takes a lot of energy to mine Bitcoin, so they have to pay those bills. They have to pay those high electricity bills. So as this halving occurs, less Bitcoin is released into circulation, and of course the demand increases. Scarcity creates demand. We all know that, right? The more scarce something is, the higher the price goes, and everything like that. So even if that's why Bitcoin is kind of also likened to gold. Because gold, you have to mine it, and then you have to, it's not like readily available. You can't print it and everything. That's why people call Bitcoin digital gold, right? So, as it becomes more scarce, the price increases. And you'll notice that when you look at Bitcoin charts, you realize that after every halving, the price just skyrockets. The first halving in 2012 saw Bitcoin go from $12 to $1,200. In 2013, the following year. In 2016, on the next halving, it was 650, and then the following year in 2017, it shot up to I think 20,000. And 2020, which was the last halving, it was 9,000, and then April 2021, it shot up to 64,000. That's wild, and that's just a testament to how scarcity kind of creates demand and everything. Right. So with all this good stuff, right, why does Bitcoin carry negative perception with some people? Not everyone, but some people. Well, it's kind of justified to a certain extent. And there's a few reasons. Two main ones, right? One of them is Silk Road. Now, Silk Road was a website on the dark web that was literally the Amazon of everything illegal, from guns, drugs, hitmen, everything. Right. It was created in 2011 by a guy called Ross Ulbricht. And Bitcoin was the only form of payment they accepted on that site, right? Which made it even more underground. But this got the alphabet boys, the FBI excited. And it was like, okay, we need to get this guy. And they went after him. And they finally caught up to him in 2013. They shut the website down. And Ross was arrested and given a life sentence for that. Ouch. That's terrible. That's crazy. So he's still in jail now. And the other main event that kind of gave Bitcoin as well that bad rap is the hacking of Mt. Gox. So Mt. Gox was like an exchange which was based in Japan, where it was allegedly hacked and all the Bitcoins got lost. That's crazy, right? I think Bitfinex as well was another one. But these two were the big ones. And when you think of it, right, people that have grown up in a system where money is physical and you always see the money, and then suddenly you're being told that Bitcoin is digital money, you don't touch it, it's just numbers and stuff like. It's hard to kind of grasp. And then when it's associated with things like this, you're less likely to kind of like, believe in its legitimacy, basically. But then when you think about it, I mean, how many crimes is our current form of money used in? You know what I mean? Yet we all still work for it and get into business for it. So, I think a lot of the hate is propaganda because it is a big threat to the current financial system. Right. So, yeah, those are the reasons that I feel that Bitcoin has, given Bitcoin a bad rap. Anyway, fun fact, speaking of transactions, right? Fun fact, right? Pizza was the first Bitcoin commercial transaction. Do you know that? It was a guy called Laszlo. I can't remember his last name, but this guy was he's based in Florida, in America, right? He offered 10,000 Bitcoin to anyone who would buy him pizza, and someone in London actually accepted the offer and ordered him a pizza. So I think he ordered the pizza on the Papa John's website in America, in Florida, where he was, and then it got delivered to him, and he received the 10,000 Bitcoin. And at that time, though, 10,000 Bitcoin was worth like $35. So, I get it. It was fair transaction at that time. And listen, this was new. I don't think anybody really, some people did know, but, not everybody probably believed that it would get to where it was today. And, but now you can imagine, but to this day, it's the most expensive meal ever, because that 10,000 Bitcoin is now worth around $500 million today. $500 million. That's crazy. And May 22 is actually known as Bitcoin Pizza Day. So May 22, 22nd of May, you guys better make sure that you buy some Papa John's and just honor the Mr. Laszlo, man. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I'll just give you a quick timeline of Bitcoin, so that you, just to put it in a small little snapshot. All right. So August 2008. The domain bitcoin.org is anonymously registered, right? And then October 2008, the white paper arrives as a post on a cryptography website. January 2009, the first block is mined. July 2009, Satoshi announces Bitcoin as a new electronic cash, system on a cryptographic mailing list, stating how it works. And July 2010, Bitcoin starts trading as BTC at an opening price of $0.008. That's a fraction of a penny. It's not even a penny. Wow. I wish I could turn back the hands of time to that, knowing what I know now. So, yeah, there you go. Now you know more about Bitcoin than the average person. Right. And we're going to do a few more videos on Bitcoin, because we still have to get into depth, like, advantages of it and a lot of other stuff. So more videos to follow up. And I hope you guys stay tuned. This is Tish for Block Smarts. Peace, and see you in the next one.